All right, we're back with another episode of the Red and White Podcast. Unfortunately for the audience, my co-host is back in action, and we don't have any special guests for you this week. But we should have a pretty good episode. Welcome back. How you feeling?
I'm living the dream, I reckon.
Chipper as always.
Yeah, I call it some kind of chest disease from Eastern Kentucky fans, I guess. So.
Well, how much did you get to catch the game this weekend?
I did. I enjoyed the broadcast from the American Sports Network.
Oh, that was brutal.
I was a little taken aback when it started. I was expecting some kind of like ESPN3 crew, which are normally bad, but I think I would have preferred. So, yeah, it was all right, though. Offense and normal. The run game was the key. Shut that down and win the game, and they did. So,
yeah, I was impressed. We had talked about their running back Lowry having two back-to-back 200-plus rushing games, and then he had 13 against us. I mean, that's pretty dominant. That's impressive.
Things change when you play the big boys.
Yeah, but even so, man, that's still that's a hell of a performance, especially from the D line, because we weren't really blitzing too much. It was just a lot of pressure up the middle, and that was awesome.
Yeah, and it's more of the same. We've seen it the first two games. You have the dominant defense, but that big play, man. There's always that so far, that one or two big plays. That's their problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a pretty good job this game. So, problem. I thought usually early on I could see it's kind of mistakes, right? There's missed assignments like the run against Troy. I think even Dorn said that they got assignments mismatched, and dude runs right down the middle. So yeah, I think those things happen, but not to be able to not see him against ODU and a quality back like that, I think that's a good sign moving forward.
Yeah, what was a screen pass or something that went for?
Yeah, he did take the screen pass, which was terrible tackling.
Yeah, that's
it was well covered, but other than that, he didn't get anything.
It's tough. I feel like the defense is solid, but until that Louisville game, man, it's really gonna be hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it comes down to. It's kind of chicken and egg, right? Are we that good, or we just haven't played anybody, right? Yeah. I think it's kind of a little bit of both.
Other than that, I mean, there's really not much to go for from that game. The offense is steady run. Still no deep balls, though. Is that a problem, or are they just not trying as hard as they could?
I think it's a bit of both, in my opinion. I think, being able to just run the ball and win easily is something that, NC State has historically never been able to do well, right? We've always been having to grind for it. So I think that's kind of, hey, we can do this, so let's do this, right? Why tip our hand at all? I do think Jacoby's got a few issues looking down the field. I don't know if it's either trust with the wide receivers or, they're not getting open. But I've looking back, rewatching some of the games, I've seen guys open, but he still tends to check down. So I don't know if that's confidence in himself, confidence in the wide receivers, or just maybe not seeing it or something. I don't know what it is, but I think there's still an issue there. Hopefully, that maybe I'm wrong and he'll throw a couple balls somewhere against Virginia Tech or something. But
Do you think that the run game being as good as it is could be kind of counterintuitive to his deep game? Because you think, well, a strong run game opens up guys downfield, but if they're stacking the box, is he worried about getting hit really quick?
I don't think so. I think, especially if you watched the early half of that ODU game, the line gave him time, right, before they are injured and shuffle things around. I think he had the time, and he was looking downfield, and a couple times like, man, just throw it. Ramos has got his guy beat by 3 yards or whatever, but he just checks, he checks down to the underneath guys, and it's the safer play. So, but I don't know why he's not letting it go. I think the shots are there, but we just haven't taken any of them.
Yeah, he just doesn't need to. I guess you know.
Yeah, and I guess that's what it is. But I'm hoping that's his thought process is playing it safe now. But I know we talked about it early in the years that I would have liked to see him early on get those reps and throwing that deep ball because it's going to be important. They're going to stack the box and try to stop the run and be like, hey, he can't throw it deep. So why are we covering? Why are we going to cover him deep?
Yeah, I agree.
So that's a concern there, I think.
Plus, like you said, he needs to get the comfort before he has to do it. You know.
Yeah.
I thought it would open up quicker or at some point before conference play. But there again, I can also see, well, we don't need to do it, so do we need to give away our secrets kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Because against ODU, the guys have got to be open. And I know for a fact you can see some of the plays, and we've got guys open, and he didn't make the throw. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that changes, but it's going to be a concern if you're playing over Virginia Tech and Louisville when they have the talent to stop the run, and then they're going to force us to throw, so we're going to have to throw it some.
They can't stop the run with Shad back.
Dude, Shad did look good.
Yeah,
I don't know how many carries he had, but he was running fast and straight, and I mean that's going to be nasty with those two running full steam.
Yeah. I think he was, right under 100 yards? Is that right?
Yeah. 92, 97, somewhere in that range. They were trying to get him to 100, but he actually scored before they could. I think he ran up the gut. And,
damn goal line.
Right? The goal line got in the way. But, yeah, I mean, he looked good. I was happy for it. I think he's such a hard runner, and it's such a different dynamic with him and Days. It's going to be tough for people to cover, that's for sure.
Other than that, I mean, it was ODU. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I don't know if you have anything else, but
the only thing I kept saying is that I was happy with being able to win easily. Just a whole bunch of things. It was uneventful, and that's just so unlike us. I texted you during the game that, man, I'm almost bored, and it was, it was a good comment because we've never had that before, and I don't know if ODU is not as good as they were last year, which I don't think they are, but still that luxury of being able to run and win easily and control the game like they have been, I think that's really a weird feeling for me.
Yeah, the games we're supposed to be winning comfortably are actually they're comfortable.
Yeah,
and that's not normal. So
right,
I think that might be a sign of growth.
Yeah,
individual players not overlooking a team because they know they're going to win. I think take care of business and it's stress free.
Yeah, that's part of the mentality they keep talking about. Business trip, and they're going about their routine and they're doing the things that they need to do no matter what the opponent. I think that's a great perspective. They started that midway through last year. They finished strong on the road and beat a good UCF team in the bowl game, but with the same mentality. And I think that carries over this week playing South Alabama. I think each team is getting progressively better. Troy, Eastern Kentucky, and then ODU is better than those guys. And I think South Alabama is probably better than ODU. They went to San Diego State, who's predicted to win their conference, and beat them in overtime out west. So I think that's the opponents are getting better. And, like seeing us winning the same way no matter who the opponent is, right? I think that's a good sign. So, I mean, they'll probably have a bigger crowd than ODU. It's Alabama. They like football.
It might be the only winning program in the state this year.
That's right. I really think...
what are they, the Jaguars?
Yeah, South Alabama.
Jaguars? Yeah.
Yeah. They're really... I really like their coach, Joey Jones. I think he's a really good coach, and he'll get the attention somewhere soon. They run a spread offense. They'll probably want to throw a little more than ODU, but they're still going to be run heavy, which kind of plays into our advantages. If they start throwing it, we've talked about it each week. I said it before the year. I'm still questioning our secondary. The coverage has just not been great, and that's my biggest concern, especially heading into ACC season. Even though I don't think anybody's going to have a quarterback by the time we get into league play.
Yeah, I think that they're done, really. I didn't even want
Yeah.
Jacoby to play Saturday, or
I know.
Jalen for that matter, but
Syracuse is starting a walk-on quarterback now. You're like,
oof.
oh, man.
So the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Speaking of the Cowboys, free Mike Glennon. I want him out of
Yes.
Tampa. He could run that Cowboys offense. Behind that offensive line, he'd be fantastic with those receivers.
Yeah, there's two that I've really looked at, and I'm like, he would be great, and it's Dallas and Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, if
they're
old-ass
built for
Carson
him.
Palmer can work in Arizona, freaking Mike Glennon would too.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are just, if Jameis goes down, they have no one. You know,
I'm assuming he's the backup. I don't know who else is there, but
second. They picked up a guy, I don't remember his name, for third string, but it was right before the season, so, and he's nothing special. So if Jameis goes down, they've got something serviceable in Glennon. But I think the last year of his deal will be next year, so they'll probably trade him in the offseason.
they better, man. I mean, the Bills could have used him this year. The Cowboys could use him right now.
The Bears could use him right now, too.
Yeah, the Bears could use him. The Bears are a mess, but I mean, I think Glennon behind that Cowboys O-line he'd be able to sling it all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
That would be amazing.
I mean, he could probably sling it with the Seahawks O-line, too, but so that's something else.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
back on topic.
Yeah,
What
back
were
to
you going to say?
back to the game at hand. I mean, I think we both feel like we're going to win. Hopefully, we win pretty easily.
I think it'll look a lot like the Eastern Kentucky game.
I think they'll give us a little bit more of a fight than that.
The score might be closer, but I don't know. I see it looking similar. I don't think they're that good.
Yeah, I honestly don't know anything about them other than their last game, which they won. We'll see. I know they got a bunch of transfers from UAB when UAB shut their program down and then opened it back up.
Yeah, do they come back or what?
Yeah, they'll be back next year. Supposedly.
I mean, the players, what happens to them that transferred? Do they get like a free in to go back to UAB if they want, or are they just done?
I think they're just done. I think it's kind of starting over, which was
Shitty.
very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think somewhere in 40 to 20 range, probably what we're looking at, I would hope.
I don't know if they'll get 20. I see another 14.
I'd still love to see from our end, I want to see a deep pass play or a big play. We hadn't really had many big plays. I've been slowly grinding out these games. So I'd like to see maybe a deep ball, but I'm really going to be watching the corners, and we need to see some better coverage and, guys making plays on the ball. To me, the biggest concern so far has been the lack of turnovers, right? We're playing inferior opponents, and we're not getting interceptions or fumbles. I think Mike Stevens has the only interception.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that'll show up later on.
Yeah, you just see, I see them throwing at us, and guys are not turning their heads, which is really strange. They're not, some of those balls last week could have been easy picks, and I don't know why they're not looking for them. I'm not sure I don't know what the problem is. It's a concern. It's been a concern of mine all year, especially when we get into we get better wide receiver talent. It's going to be tough. Yeah.
Probably a bigger crowd than last week, yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Fucked up crowd.
definitely.
My point with that was Donald Trump put 30,000 seats or 30,000 people in that stadium about a month ago, so there's got to be at least that for a football game, right?
It was pretty good. It was a pretty good atmosphere early on. At least it looked like it on TV, and then, being able to control the game, you just completely deflate a team and a fan base, and that's exactly what we needed to do. They came out, ran 15 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, and just sucks the wind right out of them.
Yeah, that was kind of my point here. Like, this is, you think South Alabama, like, they're not a great team or anything, but this is going to be a true road game.
Mm-hmm.
ODU's close, small, 20,000 people.
Yeah, still a lot of state fans.
So there's going to be a good bit of people at this game, and you got to come out and punch them in the mouth quick, and then the fans don't matter. Like you said, that happened at ODU. So
yeah.
So your prediction was what?
I'd say 42-20.
42-20. I'm gonna go 38-14.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
So I'll take either one.
Yeah.
So
what else you got?
well, I got really really pissed off on Twitter yesterday, looking at Twitter and sports radio dogging attendance numbers, and State leading in the triangle, obviously, and the excuses I heard as to why that was a thing. And the one that really ticked me off was State only leads because they've got better tailgating options. Now, mind you, I love tailgating. We have pretty good tailgates, but I don't go to the game to go to a tailgate. And I thought that was really an insult for that to be inferred. I think we just actually care about sports other than basketball.
Yeah, and I was tweeting about it this morning. It's other schools they're basketball schools, right? Duke, Carolina, they're basketball schools. Their fan base, it's under 20,000 for the arenas, so you don't put the pressure on a casual fan to go to a game. And now when you open up to football, now you have Keenan, which is more than 50, and Wallace Wade, which are expanding for some God knows reason, more than 50. Then you putting pressure on the fans to actually care, right? And they're just casual fans, and they're not going to show up.
Why put more seats in?
I don't know. Like, if you saw Wallace Wade in the last game, there was nobody there. And the same thing with Keenan. And I don't get it. They're putting the money into it, I guess, you have to, but your fans just don't care. You're going to have to change that culture. And I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that if you're them. And I saw Bug Howard's tweet yesterday, the Carolina wide receiver, which was awesome, who said, well, maybe if we play a men's basketball game at halftime, people will show up.
And that might work, but it would just be copying us, basically. So.
That's right. I mean, it's completely in jest, and I know he's kidding, but he's not, because they don't show up and there's nobody there. So, their attendance numbers are terrible. But I really think it's because they're casual fan base who's always supported basketball and just haven't had that need. When watching the game is easier for a casual fan, but for the fans who actually care, about all the sports, and I think that's kind of what State's got going for it. State fans will support anything. They'll, the women's basketball and the soccer and everything else. It's really, that's the culture we've got going on here, and it's maybe because we're not and haven't been historically great for the last 20 years, but everybody kind of rallies behind that, and we still show up. I mean, it's been packed it was packed for Troy and Eastern Kentucky, and then Carolina's playing Illinois, and there's nobody there. Yeah. They just they don't care. I don't think it's something you can change.
Duke has a top 25 team in.
Yeah, right.
Like, Duke football is supposed to be back. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Like, if there's a number beside them, there shouldn't be a seat available. Even if you are one that's just going to come for a name. I know Northwestern is not a name, but you've got a ranking. Show up.
Yeah,
what did they do?
They don't care. I don't think they'll ever care.
No, they won't.
No.
It was funny. They were coming back or going into a commercial, one of the two, and they just panned out over the crowd. And, well, I say crowd loosely, but pretty sure it was a student section, because they go by and these two little kids, or not kids, they're two students, like, taking their thumbs and popping up their basketball jerseys. I'm like, you're at a football game. What are you? And that's the entire problem with Duke and Carolina crowd-wise. They don't care.
Yeah,
when they're good, they care.
Yeah, even so, even when they're good, you put a basketball game at the same time, they probably prefer the basketball, right? Because it's easy. It's easier for them. It's easier for them to support a team that's always been winning, right? So, I don't know. It's frustrating for me from the standpoint is that State fans don't get credit for it, and I think that's kind of where you were going. We don't get credit for actually being good fans. Everybody dogs us for being, the lunatic fan base. anytime something goes wrong. But at the same time, we're leading the ACC in attendance. We have a better attendance percentage than Clemson. That's something that we don't get enough credit for, and that's the frustrating part as a state fan.
Well, lunatic fans actually care,
Right. We'll show up. I don't know. It's really frustrating from that standpoint. I don't try to not even engage in that whole debate that was going on yesterday because it's just people trolling for, trying to get state fans fired up, and it's stupid at some point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a better experience watching on TV. I think it's just easier, and it's frustrating when they lump us in there and like, well, triangle teams are struggling. Like, well, we're not. And if I'm Coach D and I'm his staff, I'm pointing it out that, look, we're leading the league in attendance percentage, right? Even when we played a shitty-ass schedule, our fans are showing up. And, I think that's something that it affects recruiting. If I'm a recruit and I see a half-empty stands at Carolina for a Power 5 game, it's like, what are these people doing? Where are they? It was a beautiful day. It was absolutely perfect. They just don't care, and I don't know. I'm just going in circles at this point.
You can say that doesn't. If you don't think empty seats make a difference to a recruit, you're crazier than hell. Like, that's just a bad look on TV. So if they're at home watching this, and then they actually, God forbid, they were actually at that game, what makes you want to come to a school like that? You're playing for a crowd that you could get starring in an FCS team that's good, or you can go to a bad. Well, they might be good, but there's no. I can't imagine being able to get up for a game that nobody even cared enough to come watch.
Right.
And
it's the Boston College effect.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird conversation. I just wish we would get the credit we deserve as a fan base as a whole. It's like, hey, we're at the games. There are no empty seats at our games.
Yeah, and I would consider it why we should get credit. My exact reasoning is casual fans will look at it like you say. It's easier to watch at home. It's cheaper. There's air conditioning. But real fans know their team needs them there to make some noise, kind of thing. They need support. So you fight through the heat, the ticket price, the trouble, I guess, of tailgating. I don't know, worrying about food and drink. And apparently our fans get it. So I don't think they're all there to tailgate. They're there for the experience of seeing their team. And that's the difference between a state fan and or state football fan and a Carolina or Duke football fan.
Right.
We're there win or lose, bad or good,
Yeah. Tailgating's not easy. It's a lot of preparation, a lot of work that goes into it. So people are using that as an excuse. True, our tailgating experience is better than the others, but that's only part of the puzzle.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. Enough about that. We got the best fans. Suck on it. What else you got? Anything else?
Not really. I know there's not a lot to talk about, but until we start playing conference teams, the summary is, well, we won like we should have, and next game is, well, we're going to win like we should. So we promise it'll get better.
So speaking of the next game, are we going to record live from Lane Stadium? Is that happening?
I'm fine with it, yeah. Why not?
I think we have to do a pre and a post game. I think the people will like that.
Yeah, we can grab some Virginia Tech fans and talk to them or something.
Oh, that's right. Maybe we'll harass Hokie Smash.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Cool. So. And just to tease upcoming interviews, we have a couple special guests lined up for everybody, so keep listening, and we should have some good conversations coming.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, buddy.
All right. Take it easy, man.
Later.
Go back.